whose histories, languages, and cultures enrich our communities. I'd also like to introduce several special guests that we have with us this evening. We have several MLAs. Sarah Hoffman from Glenora. We have Raki Piccoli, White Mud. Nicole Goring from Castle Downs. We also have two special guests that are candidates for the MVSA riding. James Groden, a high school teacher with Red Seal machinist background. Hi, James. And Karen Shaw, a rancher and four-term Sturgeon County councillor. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the St Albert NDP nomination meeting. We are thrilled that MLA Marie Renaud has confirmed her intention and commitment to represent St Albert for a third term in the next general election. I'm very fortunate to have known Marie for over 30 years. We first met in college when we were both pursuing education to advocate and support people with disabilities. Marie has continued her fierce commitment to those who are marginalized and has been a strong advocate in her many, many different work and volunteer roles over the years. In my work in the healthcare field and with a social work background, I see the devastating impact the current government has made in all areas that are intended to support people. Healthcare, education, social service supports. Albertans deserve better leadership, and Marie, as part of Rachel's team, will bring about this positive change and necessary change. So we just have a couple of housekeeping items as we get started. We have our meeting also set up on Zoom as a different format. We also have a whole bunch of wonderful donated door prizes, silent auction items. The flowers as well on the tables are all silent auction or can be auctioned off. And Brooks at the back has NDP pins, minimum $10 donation. Brooks is in the back. And we're very excited to have Jordan, who'll be joining us again with his musical talents. I'd like to introduce Madeline Pagnuco Renaud to share the MLA introduction.
It's a little tall for me. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Madeline, and if I haven't met you already, I'm Marie Renaud's daughter. My mom asked me to talk tonight about my perspective and why I think that she and the NDP are a good fit for St. Albert and Alberta. I'm currently a first-year teacher, and I'm working at a school on the south side that is for kids with disabilities, and it's specifically a private school. So it's very lucky to be a private school because we have a lot of funding for our kids, but I've also seen how the public schools have taken a hit without their funding. I did my practicum with kids with disabilities in public school, and we had 1 EA to 12 students. That's not enough. I'm now working at a private school where I have 2 EAs and myself for 6 students. So we are able to give these kids the support they need because without it, they're just not able to continue to go through the mainstream public sector, and these kids deserve the chance to do that. And they deserve the chance to get the future that people who don't have disabilities have. And so I grew up with my mom working in disability sector. I worked at Losica for 9 years. I did respite work with people with disabilities. I have been in this field for a very long time, and it's kind of funny. I tried to get into education, and I still ended up in disability services. So I've seen what these cuts can do, and I've seen how much my mom cares about this community. I remember when I was in high school, Allison Redford did those cuts, and we rallied for weeks at the legislature, and that's kind of how my mom got into this whole political area, and she just wanted to make a change. That's always what she's wanted to do ever since I was a kid. I've known that. I remember door knocking as a little kid when she ran for city council. It's always been her goal and her strive is to make a change for the people who don't necessarily have the voice and the power to do it for themselves. And so I also have friends who are in the healthcare sector. I specifically have a friend who's a nurse, and she had to move to BC because it's just not okay for her here in Alberta. We're in 2 years into a pandemic, and we're not treating our healthcare workers the way they deserve to be treated. The NDP have shown us that they actually care about these things. Education and healthcare are at the forefront of what we need to be giving the people of Alberta. Without it, people can't live. I know childcare is also a really big thing. We want to break that glass ceiling. We want more women to join the workforce, and we need childcare to do that. If it's too expensive for them to send their kids to daycare, why are they going to go into the workforce? We need to make this province equitable for everybody, and I think the NDP is going to do that, and that's why I support my mom and Rachel Notley.
Thanks, Maddie. Whoops. I'd like to welcome another MLA who just arrived, Richard Feehan, and his wife, Kathleen Quinn. We also have several members from our EDA, St Albert, and Morinville, St Albert. If everyone could stand and say hello. I'd like to welcome Jillian Creech, our treasurer, to nominate Marie Renaud as our candidate.
Thank you. Union Proud website, you can have your own. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. Thanks for coming out tonight. My name's Jillian Creech, and I'm a St. Albert resident in the beautiful new area of Riverside. It's my first year being involved with the St. Albert EDA, serving as the treasurer. I grew up in a single-parent household where community service and being politically informed was taught at a young age, and I have fond memories of volunteering with Mom and my sisters on campaigns since elementary school. Giving back to my community has always been a very rewarding aspect of my life, and now it's honestly such an honor and a privilege to be on Marie's team, a woman I've admired and looked up to as a role model for years. Working in the commercial real estate management sector is a boys' club, so I relate to the mostly male-dominated political profession Marie has forged success in. Her fortitude and courage of conviction are attributes that I applaud and strive to emulate as a female business leader in St. Albert. We are very fortunate to have such a dedicated MLA to serve us. Marie, you inspire your constituents to be the very best versions of ourselves. In 2019, my now 5 years old biracial nephews were just toddlers when my sisters and I took them to their first NDP rallies and breakfasts and events so we could introduce them to Marie, who was sometimes in her dino suit, which the kids loved, Rachel and Janice. We explained to them that these are the fierce female superheroes who are working hard to build a strong Alberta for our family. Ensuring Francis and Henry have a bright future to look forward to is why I've been so enthused to follow and support Marie's contributions to our community. A future that is focused on family, on healthcare, education, and inclusivity. Marie has so much to be proud of during her first 2 terms as MLA for St. Albert. I can't wait to see what her 3rd term will bring. She's worked, yes. She's worked tirelessly to get the birthing center open in Aikinsdale, lobbied successfully for the Ray Gibbon Drive expansion to open up the Lakeland Business District, which will ease the residential tax burden for hardworking St. Albert families. As the community and social services critic, Marie is a relentless and inspirational advocate for our most vulnerable citizens at a time when they need her voice now more than ever. Marie, on behalf of our entire team, thank you for all you do and will continue to do during what I am confident is your upcoming third term. Here's the good part, guys. I now officially nominate Marie Renaud as the NDP MLA candidate for St. Albert.
Sorry. Thank you. I'm a little overwhelmed.
Yeah,
Just clap. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. If I start looking like Alice Cooper, excuse me. Before I get started, I wanted to thank everyone who's online with us tonight. And I wanted to, can you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. And I wanted to do a special hello to Tom Ganor. Maybe you could give us a wave, Tom. I don't know if you could, Tom is our EDA president. He's the president of the St. Albert Constituency Association. I don't know if you could tell, but Tom's actually in the hospital right now, waiting on some surgery, and he's just that amazing that he's joining us this way. So thank you, Tom. I also want to thank my incredible colleagues that showed up. And I want you to know that I get to see the behind-the-scenes stuff, you know, the way sausages are made and all of that. And I can tell you, these people are just incredible. They're incredibly hardworking, and they inspire me every day, and they make me work harder and smarter. And so I'm so blessed that they join me today, and I'm so blessed to work with them. So thank you all for being here. Thank all of you for being here. I love you right back. I thank my daughter and my friends and my volunteers. All of you just mean so much to me. I can't even express that. So thank you for being here. You know, we started out with a tiny little team in 2015, and we didn't really know what we were doing at our first nomination. It was at Service Place, and Andrew and Jamie and I were so hopeful. I think Carly was there too. Well, the four of us were so hopeful that we'd have maybe 10 people show up, and we ended up with 50. And so we continued to get... And we continued to build momentum, and then 2019 came, and we built more momentum, and we're here today, and we're building more momentum. And, you know, I think it's easy to get complacent. It's easy to think, you know, we've done so much door knocking. We've done Jasveer Diol, who's another MLA, who is like so awesome that he's here. Thank you. You know, we can't take for granted. We've done a lot of work, but we have a lot of work ahead of us. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the current government, the UCP government, it's like they'll do pretty much anything to win. Now, we're not built that way. We want to be honest and transparent and work hard, and we want to win because we are honest and we work hard and we're transparent, and that is the plan. But we cannot take for granted what we've established already here in St. Albert. We have a battle ahead of us, and that means we need all hands on deck. We need people to volunteer. We need door knockers because we're out there door knocking. Our plan is to be door knocking right now at least a couple times a week and then build from there. We need to be calling people for people who can't door knock. We need to be fundraising. We need to be identifying those sign locations. We need to be ready to go because we have a battle ahead of us. We can take nothing for granted. We have seen in only 3 short years how much damage can be inflicted when you have a government in place that isn't there for all Albertans, when they are there for themselves to preserve power and to keep their little empire intact. You can see it now. It's almost every day. You open Twitter or Facebook, however you get your news, or if you get the old-fashioned newspaper, or if you subscribe online, almost every day We are hearing stories about the corruption behind the scenes, but it's not just that. It's the dangerous legislation that we're seeing. It's the attacks. It's the full-blown attacks on public health care we have seen during COVID, which has been an incredibly challenging time for us all. We have seen that this is a government that doesn't have Alberta's backs. We saw again and again, we got these waves of COVID infections when we knew what we had to do to prevent that. And as a result, we saw our healthcare system stressed to the breaking point. We saw thousands and thousands of surgeries postponed and people harmed. We all know, we saw it in our lives, in our communities. We all saw it. And that has to stop. And Rachel Notley and an NDP government, that would not have happened, guaranteed. We have seen nonstop attacks on education. You know, they'll spin it like, no, we didn't do anything. So you got rid of thousands of EAs with a Twitter post during a pandemic, but the UCP, no, we didn't do anything. They didn't build enough schools. We know that. St Albert got nothing in this recent budget, nothing in their capital plan for education, for new schools in St Albert, and we know how much pressure there is here in St Albert to educate people. We have seen again and again this government demonstrate to us just their unwillingness to do what's right for every single Albertan, and that needs to change. But enough about them, because that's not why we're here. We know that there's some problems, a lot of problems. There is corruption, there is a lack of focus, there is a lack of progressive focus on a future that is inclusive of all Albertans, and that's what we want to talk to you about, or I want to talk to you about. We want a future that includes every single person, where nobody is left behind. And I know that that sounds a little bit like a cheesy line, but we actually mean it. And you could see the beginning of really progressive policy when we had the 4 short years of a Notley government. You know, one of the things that I'll never forget, actually cried that day, when the announcement was made that in really difficult economic times, coming out of a recession, that there was a bold decision to inflation-proof benefits, really important benefits, like seniors benefits, like income support, like assured income for the severely handicapped, because we realized how devastating poverty truly is. And if you want to be a wealthy, strong province, everybody needs to join you. Everybody needs to be brought up to that line. And so, you know, it was incredibly disappointing to see that get rolled back. But I don't know if any of you caught the recent announcement that Rachel Notley and some of us have made, is that when we're elected, we will re-index those benefits. And I can't wait. But that's not all that we want to do. We recognize that climate change is one of the greatest challenges ahead of us. And unlike the current government, we're not going to hide and stick our heads in the sand. We realize it's a challenge, and we're not afraid to face it head on, because we realize the opportunity. We realize that there's a lot of opportunity there. We also want to build really strong relationships with municipalities, unlike the current government. You've probably seen in the news the recent attacks against municipalities, where we even had a UCP member suggest that they needed to be spanked because they were like children. Well, that's awful, and we are not built that way. We are not built that way at all. That's not in our DNA, and we know that when we form government, we will continue to build really strong relationships with our municipal partners. We want to address affordability. We want to strengthen healthcare again. We want to strengthen education. But more than anything, we want to listen. And so over the last 2.5, 3 years, we have worked really hard every day to listen. And to listen to all Albertans, not just wealthy donors and friends and insiders, but to everybody, because everybody has a place, everybody has a voice, and everybody deserves to be heard. And so my commitment to all of you is that I will continue to do my very best to represent every single person in St. Albert. I will do my best to listen to all of you. I will get up every day. You will be first and foremost in my mind, and I will do my absolute best to represent you and to be part of a team that represents all Albertans. And we need to make this happen, because we need a new government right now. So thank you all very, very much. And I have no doubt that I will be seeing you again soon because, you know, that's how we roll. We'll get you to volunteer because we need you out door knocking and we need you out volunteering for us because none of us do this alone. None of us. I'm just one person and there is a massive team behind me, and just like we all are. We all do this together and that's how we win, is together. So thank you all.
Thanks for watching. Alberta's NDP is working hard to build Alberta's future and to build a future that involves all Albertans. The momentum is building. If you want to be part of it, join us at albertasndp.ca.